Yeah.
All right. The clock was ticking, and it was going tick tock. My forehead was sweating, the sweat dripping like rain on a window pane. My palms were sweaty from all the button smashing. It was 2 in the morning. I completely ignored all my school assignments and didn't study for the quiz that we had that day. All I could think about, all I wanted to do was play Fortnite. What would happen when I got back to school? I didn't know, but what I didn't know was that it didn't matter right now. All that mattered was getting that dub. All right, we the affirmative support that Fortnite is an addictive and detrimental to child development. There are several reasons why we think this, and these are the reasons. The first reason is lack of sleep, and then there's the tier, attention, and your time is wasted.
So, as Kristen stated, the first reason that we support is lack of sleep. Students sacrifice valuable sleep to play Fortnite, which can be detrimental to their health. Stacy Sumptions told National.com that when she comes home, her son is always playing Fortnite. Around 11 at night, she has the time to go to sleep. But then earlier in the morning, about 4 or 5, as she described, she finds herself playing in the attic, in front of the screen playing Fortnite. And it's a school night. So, according to NHS.com, people like Sumption's son who suffer from losing vital sleep, studies have shown that when a child loses rest, they are more susceptible to diseases like diabetes and obesity. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, around 18 million people die every year from diabetes, and 155 million children are obese or overweight. Fortnite's addiction is driving children to play it more. So, as I said before, it makes them more susceptible to diabetes and obesity. So, pretty much in conclusion, Fortnite is contributing to these numbers. Go help them, Mr. Glenn. I see you.
All right. Another example of this being true is when students are in classrooms. They usually tend to play Fortnite instead of paying attention in class and doing their assignments. This can cause their grades to lower and overall have a bad class experience. Especially with Fortnite being on many devices such as and electronics such as consoles, computers, and phones. According to Education Week, the teacher didn't have problems with phones being used in her class until Fortnite came out on March 15th, 2018. She says that she went from taking one phone in 3 weeks to confiscating several phones in 1 day. This caused many students to have lower grades and have a bad class experience and didn't pay attention.
Wasting time on Fortnite. Okay, students are sacrificing valuable time playing Fortnite instead of doing their schoolwork or studying for exams, tests, or quiz. They put Fortnite in front of everything else. What? They put Fortnite was very popular. And I played Fortnite. I wasn't banned on Xbox Live for life. I would play Fortnite like every day. It would deter the way I would do my schoolwork, my homework, and as a result, I would fall behind in class, lowering my grades and my standards. Thank you. That's your fault.
All right, having presented 3 strong arguments and supporting examples to prove that Fortnite is addictive and harmful to children's lives. Be the affirmative, submit that the opposition must stand.
Stand up.
I say solid.
Yeah, stand up.
Wait.
Wait. Oh yeah, we go. Oh shoot, I kind of have mine on my Chromebook. Okay.
According to Professor Maria Giselle, a clinical neuropsychologist at Nassau University, especially weaknesses.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, take 1 point off. I got it. Okay, so. We as a teams thought the overall your overall part was actually pretty good, but we found that you did not really cite where you got most of your information from during the actual debate, which would be kind of a bad thing because some people might be upset with that. We also felt like you could have taken it a little more serious, especially how some of your
The weakness is supposed to be in their argument.
argument. Okay, so
What was the logical fallacy?
a logical fallacy was when you did the quote about the we really didn't see the point of that because we felt like that wasn't really showing how that was being addicted. That was a choice by the kid to stay up and not get his work done. I know he had a choice. What you said? Oh, a story. Well, it was still irrational because the story that your partner stated was pretty much invalid because you literally pretty much said he chose to stay up, that doesn't show anything of being addictive. We also felt like some of your examples were pretty good, but not fully well backed up of how that was being actually addictive or choosing or making that choice. So thank you.
Okay. When we're looking at a lot of those logical fallacies, we're looking at the point like they made the argument that it's disruptive to class, and one of the examples was that the teacher had to take away the phones because people are staying playing Fortnite, and that if kids have phones in the classroom, they're allowed to be on any game, not just Fortnite. It'd be like an example of trying to.
We thought we were supposed to do that after, so we wasn't prepared. No, you didn't.
You really didn't.
I literally just did that in like literally 15 seconds.
As they are as they give their arguments, you're supposed to be typing down and are y'all doing?
Yeah.
We're helping you.
They're typing in the chat.
We're gonna get F in the chat.
I put you in getting rid of that.
Okay.
Yogurt gave you like.
So we start.
Guys, like the video.
Dude. Okay, so. So the first weakness that I see that you presented is that we had a quote that you felt wasn't.
I know I changed it to the story when you corrected me on speed.
Well, anyways, you said what you said.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, your first argument was that we had a quote that you felt was relevant. It was actually never a quote. It was more like a paraphrase from an article.
All right. You said that we didn't present, we didn't have, or we didn't state any sources where we got it from. But Oscar, he said clearly right here that in, we got one of his sources, information from Mashable.com. And I said, I got my information from, according to a website called Education Week, where a teacher, said that she didn't have any problems with, phones until Fortnite came out on March 15th. And also, Oscar had another source from NHS.com.
And also the New England Journal of Medicine.
So. False accusations have to be.
Oh, also, another error that it was in your argument is that you felt that our argument was not effective. Others might have not felt that way. Yes, you did. You felt that our arguments were not strong enough. Whoa.
I said
Okay.
your story.
It's still, you said you felt.
But you didn't say that was right.
Calm down.
Alright. Now you have 2 minutes.
So, with that being said, you said you had no sources. That is technically invalid because what I stated was some of the things you said were not completely cited. Now, you did have many citations inside of your debate, which was great. Now, another thing that you said when you talked about how I said it wasn't, you said your debate wasn't effective, or I couldn't remember the exact words you said, but what I was stating was that the story that you made was not a complete valid story. Therefore, is what I stated, because as a team we felt like that was not projecting why Fortnite is addictive. That was just showing a kid playing video games and choosing to stay awake and not do his work. Being addicted is when you have to responsibly need something without actually having fun or enjoying it. So therefore, that's not an addiction, that's a choice. So I would just like you not to get those two confused. Thank you.
They'll be over there.
Okay. There you go.
So, something you don't enjoy. Yes, you did. Okay. So let's say you make it this morning. You eat it because it's good and you enjoy it. And you choose to keep eating it. You can stop. Anyone can stop. Like drugs, you can stop doing that. You just gotta choose to. So I just find that your argument was kind of weak. It had no structure to it. Yeah.
All right, though this has been an amusing or compelling debate, we the affirmative on the weight of our argument and proof have concluded that Fortnite is addictive and affects students, is addictive and affects students in a negative way.
Okay. It affects their health. It also affects their lives. Every other aspect of their life, like their schoolwork, and and also how they perform in class. So
It's your turn to present your argument, man.
You changed it. So I see. According to Professor Mariette Issel, a clinical neuropsychologist at Nassau University and specialist in addictions, says it is not just a matter of time spent on a game. There are psychological aspects where someone is dependent on it. They're not enjoying it anymore. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it. We, the negative, do not support that Fortnite is an addiction and negative affects students. We support that Fortnite and other online games help students and is a way to help them and that Fortnite helps on students.
There are several reasons why we do not support that Fortnite is an addiction and negatively affects students. And they are: 1, violence in gaming doesn't affect players. 2, Fortnite fosters relationships with people all across the world. 3, it relieves stress. 4, how gaming helps brain functions.
I, as the first speaker, will expand on the first point, while my partners will expand on the last 3 points. One example of violence in gaming does not affect players is a quote by a dean of the arts sciences at Johns Hopkins University, Catherine Newman, says millions of young people play video games full of fistfights, blazing guns, and body slams. Yet only a minuscule fraction of the consumers become violent. In addition, this argument can be supported because there are cartoons, for example, Looney Tunes, which include Bugs Bunny and many other characters. And these cartoons often display violence, acts of aggression, weapons of violence, or even death. Parents think that it is all right because it is just a show and it's for entertainment. If all of this is true, then shouldn't it be the same for gaming? Parents should be thinking the same thing because gaming is just an act of entertainment and not something they should take literally.
Another example of this being true is that Fortnite fosters relationships with people all across the world. According to Dr. Kirsty Goodwin, given that most kids prefer to play in multiplayer mode, chances are they're interacting with their peers or other people. This means during the game, the squad will interact with each other and work together to be the last squad standing. This argument can be supported because most sources state that games make you antisocial. But according to the Daily Telegraph, online games build teamwork and communication skills. Psychology Today also states Fortnite has increased children's amounts of friendships.
An example of video games relieving stress is a quote by Elizabeth Ann Scott, a stress wellness coach. She once said, "Video games can provide us with a safe and fun outlet for developing our emotions." One study in 2016 shows that random patients in an emergency room in an emergency hospital experienced 62% less flashbacks from the accident if they played Tetris compared to the patients that did not. This means that playing games help relieve pain and helps you forget about bad things that may have happened to you in your life. Another study also shows that people who play competitive games release less stress than cooperative games, but they relieve less stress, but the difference is very slight. This means that even though cooperative games relieve more stress than competitive games, they both reduce stress in significant amounts.
Our final reason is playing video games can help expand brain functions and help expand the brain overall. This argument can be supported with facts. According to BBC News, a test was held to study if video games can improve people's brain functions. A German neuroscientist had helped to do a survey. They told people to play Super Mario 64 at least 30 minutes a day for 2 months. This was a popular 3D platform game. After the 2 months, the MRI scan showed that people end up having growth in specific areas in their brain. These scans showed the growth in gray cells also. Playing video games can help improve the capacity to understand objects. This is showing how simple things inside of a video game can help expand minds. BBC News also stated that as well as skills related to these areas of brain growth, playing video games can bring other benefits, including thinking in 3D and even improving our eyesight. Unquote. At the end of the quotation, it said, even improving our eyesight. According to National Geographic, video games can improve overall eyesight, such as the ability to track several objects at the same time and paying attention to the series of fast-moving events. Unquote. These studies and findings were from different sciences. As you can see, us students need to play video games. We are not saying this should be their main focus, but should definitely be implemented into the students' everyday life. Video games have many positives. We feel overall it is on the parents to make sure the student or child does not play video games such as Fortnite way too long and make sure they complete their work. But you cannot blame Fortnite for the choices of other students. Thank you.
Having presented these 4 strong arguments and supporting examples to prove that Fortnite is not addictive and does not negatively affect students, we, the negatives, submit that the opposition must stand.
So the first point I'd like to tackle is when you guys said that Fortnite is relaxing. So many professional, well not all professional, but there's many Fortnite players who stream on medias like Twitch and YouTube. And there's one particular whose name is Ninja, who is considered one of the best at the moment. And there's multiple videos of him raging. We're not gonna put the audio because it might get a little inappropriate for some viewers. But as you can see, he's yelling right there at a camera over Fortnite. And yeah, he does not look very relaxed right there.
All right. Another point that I'd like to make was, while you did refer a lot of information to how Fortnite is good for the brain and things like that, you didn't really touch on that much on addiction, and that was just one of your weaknesses, and you didn't really touch upon it. You just mentioned it a little bit. You didn't really elaborate.
Wait, elaborate on addiction. Oh, thank you, sir.
The opposing side has made an attempt to disagree with the points that we presented. Unfortunately for them, however, their response has demonstrated some flaws. They presented the point pushing that Fortnite or gaming does not exist. The difficulty with this is that the topic is talking about students. We are not talking about pro players. They take the game seriously. We are talking about students in school, and we're talking about how it negatively affects them.
The topic we've been waiting for, addiction. As stated from Wikipedia.org, addiction is a brain disorder characterized by compulsive engagement in rewarding stimuli despite adverse consequences. Look up on other sites also. The main part of addiction with most people do not get correct is that they think it takes up all your time or you're too enthusiastic in it. But little do they know, it all has to do with the function of your brain. As stated earlier, gaming has scientifically been proven to help brain functions. This makes it literally impossible for it to technically be addictive. When you say a game is addictive, that means the person's body has to physically need it without being able to work properly, which is literally impossible. Thank you. In conclusion, I feel like you have.
The negative side has concluded their side of the debate.
Oh, wait, what do you?
We the
What did you just say?
it says affirmative.
Wait.
Oh, the negative side has concluded their side of the debate. Thank you. What are you pointing at? It's not. Oh, though this has been amusing, we the affirmative, we the negative on the weight of our rating and proof have concluded that Fortnite and other video games can technically not even be called addictive in any way, shape, or form. Therefore, we feel like overall you had a very strong argument, but was technically impossible to be correct. Thank you.
Alright, you guys move 3 and 4. Alright, let's go affirmative.
Wait. Keep going first.
Addiction is the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. Video game addiction is in fact a form of addiction according to addictionrecov.org. There are many signs of video game addiction such as lack of social engagement, concentration problems, and violence for some games. Fortnite is a popular game that has over 200 million players. Most of these players are kids that are still in school. There are several reasons why we support that Fortnite is not good for kids in school. And they are, one, Fortnite is keeping children from going to school. Also, younger kids are playing Fortnite, which is a team-rated game. And lastly, Fortnite is able to ruin relationships with students and their friends.
I, as the first speaker will expand on the first on the first point of, well, the first reason. Fortnite is keeping children from going to school. There are many instances where children drop out to pursue their dreams being a professional gamer. At least 5% of the dropout rate is due to video games. Some kids play about 12 hours, and some kids play about 22 hours a day, which means they are not at school. One instance is a kid named Josh. He plays video games, mostly Fortnite. Before he dropped out, he would play in the morning before he would go to school, and he would come back and play till at least 9 o'clock. But he wanted more time to play his favorite game, Fortnite. Now he plays when he wakes up at about 11 o'clock in the morning till about 4 o'clock in the morning. That goes to show Fortnite can ruin children's lives by being by making them be really addictive, and it can make them choose impulsive decisions.
Another example of this being true is younger kids are playing Fortnite, which is a team rated game. According to Bristol News, a primary school near Bristol has warned that people as young as 7 are playing the addictive video game Fortnite, which is sweeping the country. The article also mentioned that Longwell Green Primary School in Ellicombe Road has posted a warning on its website saying the game is not suitable for primary age children. We have heard that some of our children, including year 3, are playing a game online called Fortnite. The game is aged at 13 plus, so it's not suitable for primary age children. The article talked about how when little kids get online to talk to other players, the players might say profanity in front of the kids. Bristol News also reported that a girl aged just 9 has entered rehab for addiction to video game gripping the nation's kids. Her mom has spoken about her worries for her daughter's mental health after the youngster wet herself rather than stop playing the game. The girl secretly got up at night and played until dawn, hit her dad in the face when he tried to confiscate her game console, and dozed off in class.
The final example of this being true is Fortnite is able to ruin relationships with students and their friends. Argument can be supported because, according to the University of Georgia, marijuana on a specific game that is affecting our neighbors today. Fortnite is taking over all ranges of people, from kids to university students. To extreme players, Fortnite is ruining relationships and friendships with this addictive gameplay. According to the Washington Post, friends of students that are not into the game have taken to social media and started petitions calling for a ban on Fortnite. A wildly popular game that has robbed them of the attention from the significant others who are too engrossed in a fictional Hunger Games esque world to return calls or text messages. Significant others and our siblings have been corrupted by this game. One petition thought they were listening to story this whole time. No, they were focused on Fortnite.
Having presented three strong arguments and supporting examples to prove that we, the affirmative, submit that the opposition must stand. We now stand ready for cross-examination.
So one of your reasoning was lack of social life. I'm afraid that's wrong. It actually increased students' social life by playing online and when finishing playing the game also at school.
for the third argument, you stated that Fortnite ruins relationships, but how does this? Where is the evidence for this?
Our opponent asked, where's the evidence for, the first weakness you presented was,
The first weakness you presented is after. Alright. The opposing side has made an attempt to disagree with the points that we presented. Unfortunately for them, however, their response has demonstrated some flaws.
when you said what was the research, for, what was our point for saying, Fortnite rules relationships? There's one instance where a man, he was playing, or he's about 26 right now, he was playing Fortnite. Most years he quit his job to play Fortnite. When his girlfriend or his wife, she would call him, he would say, "Oh, I can't go out right now. I'm playing Fortnite." And eventually they split apart, and the man, he fell into deep depression, and I guess now he lives with his parents, and he has no one in the job.
The thing where you said how where the evidence for my argument was. The thing is that I said according to so for the first thing I supported argument was the University of Georgia, and the second one was the Washington Post.
They presented the question that they said that people wouldn't, like, some people socialize, while we said they didn't socialize. But most people, although they do socialize, I know somebody who finishes school at 2:30, gets home, plays Fortnite with their friends, and doesn't stop playing until like 9 o'clock to go to sleep. So he's more of an introvert. He doesn't go outside. He doesn't play any sports. So he doesn't really socialize with much people out of school. Though this has been an amusing, entertaining, compelling debate, we, the affirmative, on the way of our argument and proof, have concluded that
It's hard.
Why would you do it like this? Though this has been an amusing, entertaining, and compelling debate, we, the affirmative, on the weight of our argument and proof, have concluded that Fortnite is indeed not good for students that are in school. Because one, it can ruin relationships. Two, it keeps kids from going to school. And three, it cuts off some kids' social lives.
Devin Hosea, founder of Predict Our Care, states, the medical definition of addiction as defined as a chronic relapsing brain disease that is characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use. My sources are correct. Fortnite is not a drug, and if it isn't a drug, then it can't be an addiction. We, the negative, do not support that Fortnite is an addiction and threatens others' careers and education. Fortnite is not an addiction. These are several reasons why we do not support that Fortnite is an addiction. And they are, Fortnite is not an addiction. It relieves stress, improves social life, and relationships. One example, I, as the first speaker, will expand on this. I, as the first speaker, will expand on this. Fortnite, of the points, while my partners will expand on the last two examples. One example of this not being true is that Fortnite is not an addiction. In addition, this argument can be supported because Fortnite gave Tyler Blevins, or as most know, Ninja, the pro Fortnite player, $500,000 a year to play Fortnite. It gives him a job.
Another example of this being true, Fortnite is helping us and relieving us stress. Fortnite is helping us relieve stress and forgetting about our problems, real life problems that you are having outside of video games. According to a study of Polygon.com, another study from verywellmind.com, students have been turning to Fortnite and video games to relieve stress and forget about problems.
A final example of this being true is that Fortnite doesn't turn people into antisocial freaks, as video games have been perceived into the public. This argument can be supported because I interviewed Jason Vanilla, a 7th grader here at DNS who plays Fortnite, and he has stated that Fortnite hasn't ruined any relationships or turned them into antisocial freaks. He has actually said that Fortnite has brought him and his classmates closer.
They presented the point question that the difficulty with this is, like we said in the beginning, addiction is the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. Playing Fortnite is activity. And you also stated a man named Richard Tyler Bellins and just Monilla both play Fortnite and that Richard Tyler Bellins makes money off playing Fortnite, which means he has a job. That's one person out of about 8 billion people in the world. So you can't just go off one person and say that just because one person makes money on playing Fortnite doesn't mean everybody else makes money on playing Fortnite. And And another person said, Jason, he said that Fortnite has brought his class closer, but not everybody is that class. Not everybody can, like, some kids will, like, how many wins they have, they'll get mad at each other, or that'll ruin their relationships, and or like which team they're on, and and they'll get mad at each other for that too.
They also mentioned how technically Fortnite wasn't a drug, so it couldn't be an addiction. But technically, it doesn't have to be a drug to be an addiction. So there is a website called physicsguide.com, and it has symptoms and causes and effects of video game addictions. Meaning that there are people that have video game addictions, and they already know like what happens.
The opposing side.
The opposing side has made an attempt to disagree with the points that we presented. Unfortunately for them, however, their response has demonstrated some flaws.
The flaws being.
They presented question that identifies reason number one. The difficulty with this is we described as the medical term and not the other term of addiction. We used the medical term being addiction is an overuse of drugs.
Conclusion, if you don't have any other points. Number 10.
All right. Though this has been an amusing, entertaining, compelling debate, we, the affirmative, on the weight of our agreement and proof, have concluded that Fortnite is not addictive. Fortnite is not addictive, and Fortnite is not addictive, and it does not affect
Okay.